Hi Manoj, great to see you. Welcome to this episode of Vaartaalaap. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Aman. How are you?
Doing fine as well. So all good at home in these COVID times, I believe.
Yeah. In fact, yeah, all good. It was a bit tough in the initial days.
Hmm.
Though I do work from home only for 1 or 2 days, but it's been an
Okay.
extended period of more than 1 month, like 40 plus days of work from home.
Okay.
Uh, Usually in office, it's a large
Yeah.
place. You
Yeah.
take coffee breaks, tea breaks, lunch break, etc.
Yeah.
But here you can't take. You're
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
stuck.
Yeah.
Probably I feel that you're working more than office at
Sure.
home.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
because
Yeah.
laptop is in front of you.
All
It's
the time.
always
Yeah.
plugged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe we're working more.
Yeah. I have
So,
experienced something similar in non-COVID times while I'm working with service companies like IBM. When I used to work from home, there was more work actually. So people are experiencing the same in COVID times. So
yeah,
for my viewers, Manoj has over 18 plus years of work experience. He's currently working with Diago as a global HR apps center of excellence lead. He has over 16 plus years of experience in human capital management. Anything that you would like to add to your profile, Manoj?
yeah. So it's called Diageo. So
Yeah,
we are number one, alcoholic organization
yeah.
probably in the consumer CPG space.
Hmm.
Probably one of the leading people. Yeah, and I lead the, as someone mentioned, I lead the HR application center of excellence. I've
Okay.
got a portfolio of HR applications that I handle, I take care of.
So, human capital management is something which has, I believe, evolved over last a decade or so in terms of how the
Yes.
installations happen. There has been consolidation in terms of apps or companies buying ERP softwares as well. How do you see that consolidation in last 15 years or 20 years?
Yeah, see, in the past, what used to happen is that STM products traditionally fell into two broad categories. Um, Products that fulfill people operations and employment contract, like payroll, time attendance, employee record management, workforce management, etc.
Yeah.
But then, as times evolved, products started to evolve. Products that started aiding in execution of organizations' people strategy. Okay,
Mhm.
now it's no more human or no more employee. It's now people.
Mhm.
Okay, the new jargon is people. In fact, my own organization wanted to put it as people center of excellence rather than human. Probably that's a buzzword.
Mhm.
So so they wanted to have systems that have that address the people strategy by helping attract, develop, and retain talent, etc.
Mhm.
So when we
Mhm.
say talent, they're like putting a lot of emphasis on talent strategy, talent acquisition,
Mhm.
learning, performance. In the past, traditional systems were just to capture, your leave, time off, how much of payment that you do, that's etc. The compensation part. But now it's no more like that. Now they want to use systems and assess talent of an organization. They're laying a lot of emphasis on training, lot of gamification on training, etc.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
uh, systems in the past, traditional systems were like only catering to people operations. Now,
Mhm.
current systems are catering to people strategy. They
Mhm.
want to improve people experience. Okay, um, they feel employees are like customer, right? We are now in the age of customer centric
Yeah.
strategy,
Yeah.
right? So they feel employees, for example, even though in my current organization I only do for my own organization, right? I can be
Mhm.
not unlike in the past that we used to do where we had clients, etc. But it's not like, for me, my own customer,
Mhm.
my team members, okay, my peers can be my own customers who are
Right.
using the system. Okay,
Right.
and they want to get that experience that they get in other systems like Facebook
Mhm.
or Amazon, etc.
Mhm.
So everything is like customer centric. Uh, so similar in HCM systems are like customer centric. Okay, they want to experience every day. So we have to attract people to get in the system, right? Rather than getting into the system, applying leave, etc. It's not that how how soon they can
Mhm.
apply leave with minimal clicks
Right.
is what we are trying to bring in into HCM system.
So
So it has
one
evolved a lot.
Yeah, so you mentioned the people strategy, that's a driving force, but who is driving it? Is it coming more from the customer feedback that you are getting, and within that customer feedback, your clients? Is somebody on HR driving these changes that you see, or who
Yes.
is driving
Yeah.
that?
So see, a lot of you can say yes, the HR is driving it. So you can see the buzzword HR transformation or people transformation everywhere, right? If you go to LinkedIn, choose any CHRO or head of HR, they are saying people transformation, people strategy, and they want to drive that. Okay, and they can't drive it just by talking. They want support of IT, they want support of application, they want support of systems to do that. And the main trigger comes from them. They want to drive this kind of thing. If you look at uh, I was reading some article from Forrester. You're saying only 45% or 41 to 45% of people, okay, are happy with the current system. Okay, but the rest of the 56 people want to move away from the current HR system, and that addresses people's strategy. Okay, even in my own organization, we moved a quantum leap from what it used to be, just a system of record, to give a system that could deliver experience. So that's how. So the main trigger point, as you asked, is coming from HR only. Of course, IT will come and identify what are the features that the application gives you and which can be beneficial for the organization.
So some of these SCM apps, as you mentioned, gamification, and I came across something like that while working at Adidas. There was a clamor for revamping the entire appraisal process, bringing in gamification for training. Are new modules coming up within these SCM apps which support things like gamification?
So the gamification concept will not come in appraisal. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the HM space, many people are getting out of for the whole appraisal concept, right? In the past, we used to have bell curves, right? Many organizations have thrown away the bell curve concept into the dustbin, right?
Yeah.
Now they don't want to do it. It's experience. They just want to. They don't even rate the employees. Okay, but there's continuous or constant feedback system that they want to do it.
Yeah.
But the gamification concept would come in learning, right? So there in the past it used to be only one HR system. Now there are learning specific system, right? We have Saba, we have Cornerstone on Demand. Okay, now we have Edcast. Okay, LinkedIn also is doing a lot of learning if you get into system as a premium customer. So they bring in game concept. Okay, so that means you have to learn through game concept. Okay, that's all gamification is all about, right? It's just not the traditional system where you go see that attend your classroom training or attend a 1 hour video, but you don't learn anything, right? There is constant interaction. Okay, and that's how it is. So I can say gamification is more in terms of learning as HR system, but it will not come in traditional business processes like the performance review, etc.
Yeah, I mean, performance review, as you said, things have moved beyond normal appraisal. People are looking at
Yes.
objective and key results. OKR have come into picture.
Yes.
Since Intel brought it out and Google made it famous, companies are looking at OKR as a system. So, Anand,
Yes.
moving to the IT side of things, how have these HCM applications evolved? So, initially they were deployments over on-premise. Now, I believe the applications have started moving over the cloud. Do you see that as a trend, considering cloud has become more synonymous and omnipresent now?
Of course. So as I mentioned, right, around 40% people are just trying to stick to the traditional, but rest might move. And they want to constantly use an application that is very adaptive, right? I was mentioning that people are more customer centric. Okay, so in order to be customer centric, you need a strategy from enterprise level that can be adaptive, right, to deal with this kind of a change. And that's why you can see a big big evolution of cloud-based system, right, that could address the needs of these 56 odd percentage of organization that they want to move, right? So they are evaluating various stuff, right? So they are trying to transition to cloud-based HCM systems, right? And that's the decision that they're trying. And it's just not moving into cloud, right? Those systems which provide employee experience and that meets their people strategy is what they're looking at. So yeah, you can see a big evolution, right, from the conventional on-premise system But of course, there is a lot of talk about data privacy, compliance, GDPR, etc. So there are some organizations who are still, I would not say conservative, but still they are not very. They're afraid that if I move my data out of my servers, what would happen?
Yeah.
They're afraid not to move out of it. Probably like typical like financial organizations.
Yeah.
Probably they are still want an HR system which is like on premise.
Yeah.
They want to control it,
Yeah.
but they don't want to be like disruptive and move into cloud.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
still, they are trying. Okay, fine. You'll have a dedicated private cloud, but
yeah.
still in cloud,
Mhm.
dedicated private cloud
Mhm.
to host your HCM application.
Yeah.
But there are other organizations which are like okay with public cloud, etc. Where no matter where your data is stored, as long as it is the privacy is maintained, you're
Mhm.
compliant with all your latest jargons like SOC 2, SOC 1 compliant, etc.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you were right. There are still constraints and fears about cybersecurity and how the data is stored. So there are vulnerabilities, and especially when you talk about very strategic data, maybe payroll data, people will be reluctant to take that on cloud. So there are still uh, advantages of maintaining things on premises.
Yeah, you not believe, right? I'm the application owner of HCM system that Workday that I handle. We
Mhm.
go through regular audits. Okay, there's PwC audit, there's a Deloitte audit, there's
Mhm.
internal audits.
Mhm.
There is audit whether we are keeping the employee data, safe.
Yeah.
And the data privacy rules are different. Right? Probably in
Yeah.
India, we are much more flexible,
Yeah.
but in Europe, there are very high standards,
Yeah.
right? Even gender, it's
Mhm.
just not about compensation, it's about gender, your preference and diversity data, etc. So they're very conscious about that.
Yeah.
So we are always under the lens because it is HR data.
Yeah, I mean, Europe has brought out GDPR that was came into to force in 2018 May, I believe. India is still working on its data protection law, and that will be stringent as
Right.
well. So we'll
Yeah,
see
we
what
don't
happens.
matter we just randomly give our birthdays to everyone, but it's not
Yeah,
the case in Europe, right?
yeah. GDPR is very stringent. I mean, there are very hefty fines for not being compliant.
Not being compliant, right?
Yeah,
So there is a reputation, right?
yeah,
So in order to maintain the reputation of an organization, such systems, just not HR system, right?
yeah,
Any cloud-based system, any system,
yeah,
just to maintain the reputation of the organization. Because if they flout these rules,
yeah,
they have to pay heavy penalty.
yeah.
It is not in just thousand, it's not in million, it's billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably 4 to 10% of their profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that costs the organization a lot.
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful on such terms.
So, in terms of the players who are in this field, Manoj, SCM has been a fiefdom of likes of PeopleSoft and Oracle. Do you see infusion of startups as well in this category, bringing up softwares for SCM modules?
So, so like, so let's look from that so-called magic quadrant, right? We
Mhm.
always say like that, So there are leaders, there are challengers, there are niche players, there are visionaries, right?
Yeah,
So from leaders' perspective, we have this Workday, Oracle, SAPs,
yeah,
Altico, etc.
yeah,
But there are challengers. Okay, if you have a low employee base, you just can't go to Oracle or
yeah,
Workday or SAP.
yeah,
You can't afford to do it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So there are smaller players, right? I would not say startup, but there are in the industry for
hmm,
almost 10 years, 5 to 10 years, etc. But they're coming up, right? You have a small players like Bamboo HR or Bamboo Systems, etc. They're coming what players. And
hmm,
our within India, it's this Ramco system, okay,
yeah,
and they have capitalized on the market.
hmm,
Smaller base. I heard they're very good in UAE, okay,
yeah,
where
hmm,
the employee base is less, okay,
hmm,
and they have a lot of clients in UAE or the Middle East market, okay,
yeah,
where the number of employees are very less.
yeah,
But there are also small players who
hmm,
only want an HR system
hmm,
in their premise. Okay,
okay,
so they don't buy HR system; they buy a complete ERP, right,
okay,
which does finance, which
right,
HR, which does payroll for you,
okay,
right? So there are players like that as well.
hmm,
But all depending upon your employee base. You know, if it is large, then people typically go to Oracle's Workday or SAP, Ultimate Software. Then there are like small players like Ramco Systems or Kronos, or Infor, Metaphor, etc.
Okay.
Go like that. But what the trend, what is happening is that, as I mentioned, it is just not HR, right? Within HR, you have like you're moving on. In the past, there were only one app which does everything.
Yeah.
Now you have multiple apps. Within my own organization, I have 10 plus apps just to take around, right? For recruitment itself, I have around 5 applications just to handle recruitment, so that we, it is part of our talent strategy. We just have 5 applications with just for recruitment, right?
Wow.
Right. Then we have 2 applications just for learning.
Okay.
Then we have small system. Then each country will have its own payroll system. Like that, payroll, they have their own compliance, their own regulations or own rules within the country, right? India, we have a different rules. So we'll have a India player who will just do payroll for us. But of course, there is integration. So you'll typically have one HR system which will become your system of record, and the data will flow from that system to other systems.
Okay, but what is, so in terms of if I was a company and I wanted to buy a SCM application, would I be going for an entire suite in general, or do I pick and choose? Say I want recruitment, payroll, appraisal. Are there options of pick and choose as well?
Yeah. So like if you go for a typical HCM system, your core business processes that will get covered. Your talent, basically talent, will get covered. Your merit, your performance, your compensation will get covered, etc. Then you can be flexible. Okay, fine, I'll use the same system. But as you get big, then that's where you want to ensure that you have the right people doing the right job. That's where talent strategy comes in. Assessment comes in picture. And there are niche players to do that.
Okay.
Right. For example, we have a system called Beamry, okay, which does candidate relationship management, just to identify the right candidate for you, and bring in. Right. And of course, depending upon your requirement, right? If you're a smaller organization, just with one system, you can manage everything, and rest of our other business process you manage within your Excels, etc. But by and large, at least 60 to 70% of your process are covered within the system, and rest is handled outside. Then fine. But as you get bigger, your requirement becomes bigger.
Okay, so one last question, Manoj. In terms of implementation side of things or managing a client's business, have roles like product manager, agile delivery, agilist, product owner, these roles also have been introduced in managing SCM applications? Do you see that?
Yes. So you see, these cloud-based applications are already, it's like a well-tailored application. Okay. So you don't have to create anything new. Okay, they will deliver. So the concept of product owner. Okay, let me explain the first product part. The concept of product will come, for example, if you want to do anything on the compensation side. Okay, so you have compensation product owner who does understand the compensation aspect of the organization and the system. Okay, from A to Z. Okay, you have to know, right? Just like we have, within the compensation, we have merit cycle, you have annual bonus, incentive plans, etc. So it's a big larger.
So just to interrupt you, you mean something like a functional lead of past
Functional lead, yes.
is
So you
becoming
have
a
to know,
product owner now?
product owner now, yeah. In the past, it will be business analyst.
Yeah.
So now the term business analyst is kind of reforming into a product analyst.
Yeah.
You have to know the product, right?
Yeah.
And you have to know the understand the functionality as well, right?
Yeah.
Because if you do not know the concept, you can't implement for the organization, and you can goof it up, right? Same is the case with recruitment. So recruitment is just not one function, right? You have to understand, you're bringing a person, you have to understand the whole flow of talent acquisition to become. So the whole product owner, the whole business analyst concept has become evolved as a product analyst or product owner. Right? Coming to your agile question, of course, everything has to be done agile, right? because these cloud-based systems are there, they are ready. They are also implementing features in agile manner. Every week there is a patch, there is running, okay?
Yeah.
And you have to be agile to implement that for your own organization.
Yeah. Yeah.
So agility has to be there, right? We just can't follow the old method of, one by one or waterfall model.
Yeah.
We have to implement agile, right? For example, we are in this state of COVID. We implemented many features just to address the COVID preparedness, right? We had new leave plans created, okay, just to identify who are the people who are affected and taking leave because of COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, people who cannot work because they will have a COVID positive, C19 positive person whom you have to take care, and you're taking in leave. Okay, people who are taking work from home because of COVID.
Yeah.
So there's preparedness. So we are agile, right?
Yeah.
So system have to be agile. We have to be agile in terms of implementing it.
Yeah.
So the agility concept is there, right? We have to be agile to doing it, right?
Yeah.
That's why the typical release management concept is not there. Okay, so still we want to follow it, but it's not that. We are kind of more agile. The concept called DevOps, people are adopting that to implement even a small enhancement, right? So that it's more rotational. It's not the conventional that you completed your testing, I'll move to deployment. No, it is continuous testing, continuous deployment, etc.
Yeah. I mean, CI/CD pipeline have become a big feature. Delivery teams are using agile, so we are seeing new roles as well as new tech and processes come into picture of delivery.
Yes. So we are trying to have experts who can do that for us, right? It's just not okay. Fine, you're free. Please start doing it, right? You want experts to do.
Yeah, exactly. Great, Manoj. Your perspectives have been great. Your insights have been really great. I am sure that our listeners will love to hear some of it. And in future, we can touch base upon any other subject as well in future. Thanks for your time today.
It was nice talking to him.
Yeah,
Nice
nice
talking
to
to you, man. Thank you.
take
Bye bye.
care.
See you.
Thanks. Bye.